Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well today because I have some massive news for you. If you're someone who depends on Social Security payments, or if you know someone who does, then this update is something you're definitely going to want to hear. In fact, this is one of the most significant changes to Social Security in a very long time. So, what's the big news? Well, it's official. Congress has just passed a new bill that's going to dramatically increase Social Security payments for millions of Americans. And by dramatically, I mean that each recipient will be receiving an additional $3,100 a month starting soon. Yes, you heard that right, $3,100 more every single month. This is a game changer for the millions of retirees, individuals with disabilities, and survivors who rely on Social Security to make ends meet. This is not a one-time bonus, folks. This is a permanent, ongoing increase. Now, we all know that Social Security is a lifeline for many people. For seniors who are retired, for individuals who are living with disabilities, or for families who've lost a loved one, Social Security benefits often serve as their main source of income. But for years, those benefits have not been enough to keep up with the rising cost of living. That's something Congress has finally acknowledged with this new bill, and this is why it's such a big deal. In today's video, I'm going to break down exactly what this bill entails, who is going to benefit from it, and how this increase will impact your monthly payments. I'll also give you some insight into why this bill was needed in the first place, and what this could mean for the future of Social Security in America. But before we dive into the details, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you're excited about this news, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future updates. Let's jump right into it. So, what exactly is this new bill that Congress has passed? As of today, February 24, 2025, the United States Congress has approved legislation that will significantly boost the monthly Social Security payments of all recipients. The new bill will provide an extra $3,100 per month to Social Security recipients across the board. What's important to note is that this is not a one-time payment or a temporary increase. This is a permanent, recurring monthly boost to your Social Security check. So, if you're already receiving benefits, this increase will be added to your usual payment moving forward. And, it's not just retirees that will benefit from this change. People who are receiving disability benefits or survivor benefits are also going to see this same extra $3,100 per month. Now, the amount you receive will depend on the type of benefits you're receiving and how much you were already getting before the increase. For example, if you're currently receiving $1,000 a month in Social Security benefits, this bill means you could see your monthly payment jump to $4,100 a month. That's a huge difference, right? This kind of financial relief could make a huge impact on your life, especially when you consider how much the cost of living has increased in recent years. Let's take a step back for a moment and look at why this bill is so important. If you've been following the news in recent years, you probably know that the cost of living in the United States has been rising steadily. The price of groceries, gas, housing, healthcare, and just about everything else has been going up. But here's the problem: Social Security payments have not kept up with this inflation. In fact, for many people relying on Social Security, their payments have been too low to cover their basic living expenses. According to studies, the average Social Security check for retirees is just around $1,500 per month. While that might seem like a lot of money to some, when you factor in rent, medical bills, utilities, and groceries, that amount doesn't stretch very far, especially in places where the cost of living is high. On top of that, Social Security payments have been adjusted for inflation over the years, but those adjustments, known as COLA, or cost of living adjustments, have often not been enough to keep pace with the rising prices of goods and services. For example, Even with COLA increases, many seniors have had to make tough decisions about whether to spend money on food, medication, or housing. And that's just not okay. Congress realized this issue, especially after hearing from advocacy groups and social welfare experts who pointed out how difficult it was for many Social Security recipients to maintain a decent quality of life. In response, they came together to craft a new bill that would provide a permanent increase in benefits. The goal of this bill was simple: ensure that people who rely on Social Security can live with dignity, without constantly worrying about whether they can make ends meet. Now that we know what the bill is and why it was necessary, let's talk about how this will directly impact you. If you're someone who relies on Social Security benefits, this increase means more financial security. It's going to make it easier for you to cover your basic living expenses, and it might even give you a little extra room to enjoy life in ways that weren't possible before. Imagine, for a moment, how much easier life would be if you didn't have to struggle to pay bills every month. With an extra $3,100, you could afford to pay your rent or mortgage without stress, cover your healthcare costs, buy groceries without worrying about going over budget, and even set aside some money for emergencies or fun activities. That's the kind of relief this bill is designed to provide. For people with disabilities, this increase is particularly important. Many individuals with disabilities rely on Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, as their primary source of income. Unfortunately, many SSDI recipients have found that their benefits don't stretch far enough to cover their needs. But with this new bill, that's about to change. The $3,100 increase is going to help ensure that people with disabilities can live a more comfortable, stable life, and not have to struggle just to get by. And for families who've lost a loved one and are receiving survivor benefits, this increase will bring much-needed financial relief. Losing a spouse or parent is already an incredibly difficult situation, and the additional financial burden of trying to make ends meet can add even more stress. With the new bill, those families will have a better chance of staying financially stable during a very challenging time. This bill is a big step forward for Social Security, but it raises some important questions about the future of the program. Social Security is one of the most vital social safety nets in the United States, but as we all know, it faces long-term funding challenges. With an aging population and fewer workers paying into the system, many people worry about the future sustainability of Social Security. The passage of this bill is a sign that lawmakers are starting to recognize the urgency of protecting and improving Social Security, but it also highlights the need for long-term reforms to ensure the program's continued success. If the government continues to expand benefits like this, it's going to require careful planning and additional funding sources to make sure that the system can handle the growing demand. Still, for now, this bill provides a much-needed boost to Social Security recipients, and it sets an important precedent for future policy changes. It shows that lawmakers can come together to address the real needs of the American people, and it demonstrates a commitment to ensuring that Social Security remains a strong and reliable support system for future generations. So, how do you make sure you're getting the extra $3,100? If you're already receiving Social Security benefits, there's nothing you need to do to receive this increase. It's automatic. The Social Security Administration, SSA, will update your monthly payment, and you'll start receiving the higher amount as soon as it's processed. That said, it's always a good idea to double-check your payment details. Make sure your contact information is up to date with the SSA, and if there have been any changes to your life circumstances, such as moving or a change in your bank account, make sure they have the most accurate information on file. If you're not yet receiving Social Security, but you think you may be eligible, you should contact the SSA to see if you qualify. They can help guide you through the process of applying for benefits and ensure that you're receiving the full amount you're entitled to. So, there you have it, a comprehensive look at the new bill that's going to provide an additional $3,100 per month for Social Security recipients. Whether you're a retiree, someone with disabilities, or a survivor of a loved one, this bill represents a major victory in the fight for financial security and relief. It's going to help millions of Americans stay afloat in a time when the cost of living is constantly rising. And while the future of Social Security remains uncertain, this bill is a huge step in the right direction.